Hey friends and crafters, if you've seen the description to this video or the title, you know what I am bringing you today, the monster of monsters. So let's go to the table and we'll start crafting that. My project's starting out as most of them do with cardboard, and it's a little bit of over a foot across on each side. So you can see I've done concentric, irregular shaped rings all the way down to the bottom. I've done 3 layers, and then the 4th layer I cut a hole in, so that'll be where the Sarlacc head comes out of. And I've cut a base that's exactly the same size as that piece of cardboard. So now I just need to glue that on. So I'll just use my large hot glue gun. Glue it on the other side and attach it. Now you can see I've drawn lines on there, and that'll help me to put the pieces on the correct way that I want to put them on. So now what I want to do is fill this in with some detail. Those of you who haven't seen this before, I'm dragging the glue gun to get the texture for the inner Sarlacc pit. So I'll just keep dragging that in, and you can see how that works. Use a large glue gun to get a little more glue in that center area, and then pull it out with the smaller glue gun, and then the same with the outer ring. So just make sure that's all filled in and looking good with texture. So I'll do the edge there to kind of blend and hide the corrugation, and I use my small glue gun to pull that out, just a little easier with that smaller one there. There we go. So now I'll put the next ring on and just continue. So I got the next ring, building it up, building up the dimension. Got that on there. So it's all set and ready to go. Now I want to cover this up, so I'm going to use my white glue and toilet paper and just start filling this in. Just continue doing this and just work your way around. You can see I just kind of put some irregular shapes on there to begin, and then covered it up with sheets of toilet paper. So here we go. I've done the whole thing, and it's all covered up, and so it gives a nice coverage. Now what I want to do is build up the edge a little bit. So I'm going to put some TP around the edge and just start building it up, almost like a wall around the edge, and that'll give it a little more dimension. And just keep doing that. Now I want to cover that up, so I'm going to use more like sheets, and then I'm going to go towards the center and blend it all in towards the center. So I'll just keep going around with those sheets, smoothing them out, putting them towards the center, and just put them on till you like what you got. Fill that up some. See how that's working out nicely. It really looks good. Really looking like a mound. So there we go. Now we'll let that dry up. Now for the next part, I want to do some details with some model magic. And this is kind of a weird clay. It's kind of a foamy, rubbery clay, and I like it a lot. So what I do is I store it in a jar to keep it from drying out, my excess. And I just use some cheap modeling tools. These are tools you can buy at the craft store for like $5 a pack. So let's get a couple knife-like tools. And I want to make the tentacles coming out of the pit. So I'm just going to roll into it that shape, then kind of drag the knife along it, and that'll give it texture. That'll give it a nice texture. And I'll just cut it in half. I'm going to break off a toothpick, and this will be where I'll stick it into the Sarlacc itself. So we'll let those dry up. Now I want to do the head, so I'm going to do a ball, kind of pull it into the, it's almost like a tortoise head. So just kind of shape it. Now I want to do some interior detail in the mouth, because it does have some detail there. So I'll just use the edge of that tool. You see me going around there. Just poke it a bit, get that nice detail going, and just keep playing with it. Has a little bit of a beak on it, so I put that on there. And then now I'm putting some folds of skin on it. So just drag that knife over the surface and around the edges, and that'll give you a nice kind of crinkly skin look. And I'm really liking what's happening there. So just keep doing it till you're satisfied. And you got to be careful with this clay. You can mush the details you do, so you have to have a light touch. All right, so there we got the mouth ready. One last thing I want to do with that, though, is I want to use some more to make a tongue. So I'm going to kind of pull it out. I'm going to use a toothpick to stipple it. And I'll just make some room in the mouth, pop that in, and let her dry out. There we go. So now here's the tentacles. One thing I want to do to strengthen these, I want to use some white glue. So I'm going to apply some white glue, PVA glue, to this. I want to glue the tentacle as well as the tip where the toothpick is, so it'll be nice and secure into that. That'll give it some extra strength. So here we go, here's our guy. And I want to do another layer of glue. This will just harden it up, so we'll just add that in, just smooth it. You can smooth it around with your finger or a brush, either way. Depends what day it is. For me, I just use my finger on this one. So I'll just smooth this around, and it's good to go. Now I'm going to do the teeth in the Sarlacc pit, so I'm going to use some toothpicks, and I'm going to cut the ends off these. And what you can do is you can cut 3 or 4 at a time. Just hold them between your fingers and grab the scissors and just slice between there. Just be careful you don't cut yourself. A little strong there. All right, there we go. So then I want to make over a dozen of those. Probably a couple dozen actually. So I'll just cut the excess off there on that one. I'll just make some more of those, and I'll be ready to apply teeth. So here's our pit. It's all dry and ready to go. I'm going to use a probe, a poking tool, I guess you'd call it. And I'm going to start poking holes in this and just put white glue and push the toothpicks into the edges of the pit. This will kind of simulate the teeth of the pit. And this is just a super easy and cheap way to do it. Just work your way around with the probe and just keep applying teeth until you're happy with the result. And you got to put quite a few in to make it look nice, but it gives a really nice result. There we go. So I'm pretty close to being done here. I'm pretty happy with the layout of the teeth I got going there. So there we go. Nice. Very menacing. Now one last thing I want to do is put some white glue around those teeth. This will help give an extra strength to hold them in. I've already glued them in, but this will just give a little extra strength to the teeth and to help hold them in. Hey crafters, I hope you found part 1 of this video informative. You come back for part 2 when I show you how to finish my precious Sarlacc. I love you, Sarlacc.